afternoon to all of you. Today we are assembled here to celebrate a great poet, MAHAKAVI KALIDASA. Every year, during the Navaratri, on the last day of Navaratri or the subsequent week, we used to conduct an endowment lecture to commemorate MAHAKAVI KALIDASA's contributions to Sanskrit literature, which we have been doing for many decades. This lecture is being held under two institutions, endowments instituted in two institutions, Dr. S.S. JANAKI Commemoration Endowment at the Kuppuswami Sastri Research Institute. Dr. S.S. JANAKI, whose portrait you can see here, was former director of this institute and was one of the greatest scholars, internationally acclaimed in the field of literature, Alankara Shastra, Shaivagamas, and so on. She passed away in 1999, and in her memory, her family members and some of us who studied under her, who worked under her, we have given the endowment. Every year we are having an endowment pertaining to some topic on Sanskrit literature. And from this year onwards, we are going to have all our lectures along with the Madras Sanskrit Academy. So in the Sanskrit Academy, we are having this endowment lecture under Sri Venkatanaryana IYER and SUNDARAMBAL endowments, instituted by Sri T.V. Viswanatha family, T.V. Ramanathan sir and their family members. And it is the custom to render some of the verses of Kalidasa in musical form every year before the start of this lecture. And today we are going to have both. Select verses will be sung in different ragas by Dr. Vaishnavi Purna, who did her PhD here on the topic, the scope of music in Sanskrit dramas with special reference to Kalidasa's plays. She is well versed with dance and music, classical dance and music, and she is also a deputy director in the Rasa, training hundreds and hundreds of underprivileged children, physically challenged and mentally challenged children. And today she will be rendering some of the verses of the great poet Kalidasa in musical form. This will be followed by a talk on Kalidasa, the astute dramatist, by Dr. K. Prasanth. Dr. K. Prasanth was formerly head of the Department of Sanskrit in Ramakrishna Mission Vivekananda College, where he worked for more than 30 years, and he has taught hundreds of students different subjects. He is a specialist in literature and Alankara Shastra, his PhD being on Alankara Shastra, and also he is well versed in Bhasha Shastra, comparative linguistics, and he is well trained in Bharatanatyam as well as in Carnatic music under the great Parur Venkataraman. So as it is said, Sahitya Sangeeta Kala Vibhushitaha. So Dr. Prasanth is well versed in dance and music, not only in theory but also in all the practical aspects. And he has presented papers in many national and international conferences. He has also written many books. To just name a few, he has written books on Natya Rasangal and also Venkatanaраಯana and very simple books to learn Sanskrit, 200 Sanskrit verbs for learning Sanskrit. And he has also written books on puja paddhatis, many puja paddhatis, to make all the people understand and also how to perform different rituals meaningfully. And he is very active in social media, especially in Facebook, etc. And he has been giving public lectures in many of the texts like Valmiki Ramayana, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Viduraniti, and so on. And he has also guided more than 25 research scholars for MPhil degree in Vivekananda College. And he readily agreed to give a talk on this topic of Kalidasa, the astute dramatist today. We are thankful to you, sir. We welcome you, though he is not a stranger to any of us here. And I also welcome our student, Dr. Vaishnavi Purna. Now I request Dr. Vaishnavi Purna to come and render some of the verses of Kalidasa. This will be followed by Dr. Prasanth's talk. Thank you.
वागर्थाविव सम्पृक्तौ वागर्थप्रतिपत्तये जगतः पितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ। एकैश्वर्ये स्थितोऽपि प्रणतबहुफले यस्वयं कृत्तिवासाः कान्तासम्मिश्रदेहोऽप्यविषयमनसां यः परस्ताद्यतीनाम् अष्टाभिर्यस्य कृत्स्नं जगदपि तनुभिर्बिभ्रतो नाभिमानः सन्मार्गालोकनाय व्यपनयतु स वस्तामसीं वृत्तिमीशः सन्मार्गालोकनाय व्यपनयतु स वस्तामसीं वृत्तिमीशः। निष्कम्पवृक्षं बिभृतद्विरेफं मूकाण्डजं शान्तमृगप्रचारम् तच्छासनात् काननमेव सर्वम् चित्रार्पितारम्भमिवावतस्ते चित्रार्पितारम्भमिवावतस्थे अवृष्टिसम्भ्रम्भमिवाम्बुवाहमपामिवाधारम् अनुत्तरङ्गम् अन्तश्चराणां मरुतां निरोधान् निवातनिष्कम्पमिव प्रदीपम् अन्तश्चराणां मरुतां निरोधान् निवातनिष्कम्पमिव प्रदीपम् रम्याणि वीक्ष्य मधुरांश्च निशम्य शब्दान् पर्युत्सुको भवति यत् सुखिनोऽपि जन्तुः तच्चेतसा स्मरति नूनमबोधपूर्वं भावस्थिराणि जननान्तरसौहृदानि भावस्थिराणि जननान्तरसौहृदानि तन्वीक्ष्यामा शिखरदशना एकबिम्बाधरोष्ठी मध्ये क्षामा चकितहरिणी प्रेक्षणा निम्ननाभिः श्रोणी भारादलसगमना स्तोकनम्रास्तनाभ्यां या तत्र स्याद्युवतिविषये सृष्टिराद्येव धातुः मधुद्भिरेफ कुसुमैकपात्रे पपौ प्रियां स्वामनुवर्तमानः मधुद्भिरेफ कुसुमैकपात्रे पपौ प्रियां स्वामनुवर्तमानः शृङ्गेण च स्पर्शनिमीलिताक्षीं शृङ्गेण च स्पर्शनिमीलिताक्षीं मृगीमकण्डूयत कृष्णसारः शृङ्गेण स्पर्शनिमीलिताक्षीं मृगीमकण्डूयत कृष्णसारः त्वामासार प्रशमितवनोपप्लवं साधुमूर्ध्ना त्वामासार प्रशमितवनोपप्लवं साधुमूर्ध्ना वक्ष्यत्वद्धर्षमपरिगतं सानुमानाम्रकूटः न क्षुद्रोऽपि प्रथमसुकृतापेक्षया संशयाय प्राप्ते मित्रे भवति विमुख किं पुनर्यस्ततोचैः प्राप्ते मित्रे भवति विमुख किं पुनर्यस्ततोचैः सरिगपदनि सनिदपगनिदपग रिस यात्येकतोस्थशिखरं पतिरोषधीनाम् आविष्कृतोरुणपुरस्सर एकतोर्कः तेजोद्वयस्य युगपद्व्यसनोदयाभ्यां लोको नियम्यत इवात्मदशान्तरेषु तेजोद्वयस्य युगपद्व्यसनोदयाभ्यां लोको नियम्यत इवात्मदशान्तरेषु पत्रच्छायासु हंसा मुकुलितनयना दीर्घिका पद्मिनीनां सौधान्यत्यर्थतापाद्वलभिपरिचय द्वेषि पारावतानि बिन्दुत्क्षेपान्ति पासुः परिसरति शिखि भ्रान्तिमद्वारियन्त्रम् सर्वैरुस्त्रैर्समग्रस्त्वमिव नृपगुणैर्दीप्यते सप्तसप्तिभिः प्रवर्ततां प्रकृतिहिताय पार्थिवः सरस्वती श्रुतिमहती महीयतां ममापि च क्षपयतु नीललोहितः पुनर्भवं परिगतशक्तिरात्मभूः ममापि च क्षपयतु नीललोहितः पुनर्भवं परिगतशक्तिरात्मभूः.
And the members of the audience, where I see Dr. Pungundran also here, the present head of the Department of English, Vivekananda College. My pronouns to you all. Good afternoon, everyone. At the outset, I would like to thank the organizers of this talk. My sincere thanks to Dr. Kameshwari Madam. I would always call her an embodiment of simplicity and scholarship, both tied together in her. A lot of respects for her. I would also call her Avara Janaki. And the title would be very much befitting for her, I believe. Yes. Dr. K. Srinivasan, my guru, who taught me works like Kavya Prakasha, Dvaita system of philosophy, Advaita system of philosophy, and also one of my favorite subjects, comparative philology. Dr. Balasubramanianji, who has been my close friend, a big inspiration for me, and Dr. T.V. Vasudeva. So they are inseparable like Rama and Lakshmana. And here, and other friends, I have so many friends here in KSRA. My pranams to Dr. S.S. Janaki, though she is not with us anymore. She encouraged me a lot when I was a raw teacher in the Sanskrit department of Vivekananda College. I remember on one occasion, myself and my wife paid a visit to her house when she was living in the Mandavali street near Mandavali post office. On one occasion, she was living in the Mandavali area. My residence was just diagonally opposite to hers. She walked one day after our visit to her house. One day she walked into my residence to have a chat with my wife. She discussed some recipes with my wife. That too, that shows her alarming simplicity. And that too when she was holding a high position here. That is Dr. S.S. Janaki, who is just right in front of me. Great inspiration for me during my early days in Vivekananda College. Well, in today's lecture for about 30 minutes or so, I would like to touch upon the topic Kalidasa, the astute dramatist. Sita Madam was just pointing to me, saying it is a wonderful word, astute. I was only telling her, yes, skillful. Astute is a very good English word, meaning dexterous. Kalidasa, the astute dramatist. We all know that Kalidasa is primarily remembered for his two mammoth Mahakavyas, Raghuvamsha and Kumar Sambhava, and his erudite scholarship while composing plays as a playwright. That cannot be forgotten. His unquestionabilities. Hence, I would like to highlight his marvelous dexterity when it comes to constructing dramas. Dramas have to be constructed. They are very differently presented as literary forms, unlike Mahakavyas. I don't say Mahakavyas are easy to write, but dramas are very difficult to write. You will have to cover the entire topic, what is discussed in the Mahakavya, in the drama, if you take the plot from the Mahakavya. Among all his three plays, how can I be touching all the plays? So I'll like to touch upon only one play, Abhijnana Shakuntala. It enjoys a unique position in dramaturgy simply because of its universal appeal and unparalleled poetic extravaganza. Noted German writer Goethe in 1792 said on Abhijnana Shakuntalam, all of us might have gone through that quotation, quote, "If you wish to see the young flowers of spring and ready to pluck fruits of summer, spring and summer, at once, or if you wish to see that object which pleases, hypnotizes, delights, and quenches you at once," look at the word at once, "or if you wish to see the earth and heaven in one look, I invoke the name of Shakuntala, and all quests are answered at once," unquote. So look at what a Westerner has said about the work. What makes Abhijnana Shakuntalam of Kalidasa such a great drama? My lecture is going to be very simple only because many students have come. Some students follow the professors wherever they go. It happens in their lives. So they would want in a simple manner. So what makes Abhijnana Shakuntalam so special? The answer is straightforward. Kalidasa strikingly adhered to all the critical aspects of or crucial aspects of dramaturgy. You might have caught what I'm trying to say. What is that? He adhered to the principles of Natya Shastra. That is very important. And Kalidasa lived at least 300 years later. So Natya Shastra might have been composed around 4th century BC or 3rd century BC, whereas Kalidasa lived probably in the 1st century AD, not in the 6th century AD or 9th century AD. Professor Srinivasan sir might comment later. Why? Because there are maybe many arguments say that Kalidasa might have been one of the Navaratnas in Chandragupta Vikramayicha's court, all these things. And Shivaji Ganeshan's and Akine Nageshwar Rao's Kalidasa also portray Kalidasa living in the court of Bhoja, who belonged to 9th century. So we don't think he lived that far. Possibly in the 1st century AD, he might have been aware of the content of Natya Shastra, certainly, because all these media were not existent at that time. But then passages from Natya Shastra would have been read during Kalidasa's time, and Kalidasa might be knowing something about, if not much about Natya Shastra, and he might be thinking like this, well, I should adhere to the principles of Natya Shastra in my composition of my dramas. This is what any Sanskrit reader would feel. So let us look now how Kalidasa employs the principles of Natya Shastra while constructing the plot of Shakuntalam. Very important for a dramatist to follow the principles of Natya Shastra. Though it might have been written in 35 plus chapters, some of the chapters are really taken as nucleus of Natya Shastra. One such chapter is the chapter dealing with rasas, 6th and 7th, 5, 6 and 7. The essential elements for a Kathavastu. Let us start from Kathavastu. I would like to have water. Let us begin with Kathavastu. Kathavastu is the most important part of a drama construction. Nataka Nirmanam. Kathavastu must have three things. What are they? Bija, Bindu and Phala. Even if one is taken out, the drama will fall. It will collapse. All the three should be there. And we, Indians, Swami Vivekananda always used to say that Aryans brought Vedas to us and all these things. And Mangala Avasana we have. Avasana, the end portion should always be a group photo. It should be a happy photo. Unlike the Greek tradition, you can take Hamlet or Julius Caesar. Most of them are tragedies, and very little of them are their happy endings. So here it is not so. Kalidasa paid much attention to the Mangala Avasana, the happy ending. And you see, you might ask, sir, where are the Bijas, Bindus and Phala in the Kathavastu? Well, Kalidasa was very careful. You will find the Bija in the first meeting of Dushyanta and Shakuntala in the ashram. Okay? And then sage Durvasa's curse and the memory loss of Dushyanta is the Bindu. So Durvasa is a kind of mover here, mover. He plays the role of a mover. Who is a mover? He moves the drama forward. Therefore, and where the plot develops further. And then you have the Mangalavasana. My respectful pronouns to the teacher, present teacher of chemistry in Kesari Higher Secondary School, where I studied. He is also here. His father is a great Sanskrit writer, great Sanskrit scholar. Yes. And then you have the happy ending here. You will find Dushyanta regaining his memory and accepting Shakuntala. And all of you know about the divine intervention in the last acts. Divine intervention, that speaks about the happy ending. And Dushyanta never said, you just go away from my life forever. He accepts. So happy ending. Again the group photo which I said, everybody is happy. Even in the Ramayana, till the Uttarakanda there was a group photo only. Uttarakanda, then maybe interpolation, all separation takes place, and also unfortunate death of Sita also. But otherwise, you just take till the end of Yuddhakanda. There is happy union. So that is the Indian culture. We always aim for happiness, bliss. Now let us look at the characterization aspect. Simple aspects. Uttama, Madhyama and Adama. And Kalidasa was very careful. He brought all the characters. Divisions of Uttama, Madhyama and Adama are nicely portrayed through the characters of Dushyanta, Shakuntala, Durvasa and Kanva. Let us not forget Kanva, who happens to be the foster father of Shakuntala. Then, sage Durvasa clearly plays the role of a mover here, as I told you, in the sense that he drives the play forward via his curse. Dushyanta does his best to uphold truth and dharma. Don't ask me what he did in the beginning. Though initially portrayed as a man afflicted by love. In all his dramas you can see that. Even in Malavika Agnimitram for that matter. We will see how Bhava and Rasa. Now let me go to the next topic. Bhava and Rasa. Whether Kalidasa followed technically speaking Natya Shastra. The nucleus of Natya Shastra, Bhava and Rasa, is applied by Kalidasa in Abhijnana Shakuntalam. The poet's thorough understanding of Rasa Sutra. Kalidasa's understanding of Rasa Sutra. Vibhava, Anubhava, Vyabichari, Samyogat, Rasa Nishpattihi. These three bhavas are not there, then how can rasa come? So, for the simple understanding of the students and my friends here, I would say, what are the three bhavas? Vibhava, Anubhava and Vyabichari bhava. Vibhava is again of two types. Kalidasa has followed all these things, I will tell you how. Alamana Vibhava and Uddipana Vibhava. What is Alamana Vibhava? Vibhava is the bhava that is a must for the development of the drama and for a rasa for that matter. If the vibhava is not there, rasa cannot develop. Every object in the world must be a vibhava for any of the rasas, 8 rasas. I am not talking about Shantarasa. What, sir? That car must be vibhava for any of the rasa. Says Jagannatha Pandita in his Rasangadara. So, Shakuntala is the alambana, base vibhava for Dushyanta, and Dushyanta is the alambana for Shakuntala. Otherwise, love cannot, Sringara cannot develop. Sringara is supposed to be the queen of rasas. Then, what is the second type of vibhava? Uddipana vibhava. For the love to develop, Uddipana, kindling factors are must. What are the factors that kindle the sentiment of love? Rati or Sringara. Rati is the sthayi bhava for Sringara. See, that is the Rahasthana, secluded place, Jyotsna or the moonlight. Then Maruta, Malaya Maruta, something like that. So a cool breeze. These are all the factors that kindle Sringara rasa. Kalidasa followed all of them. I will come to that. Then I am just explaining for some people here. Many are scholars, of course, they know what are vibhavas, anubhavas and vyabichari bhavas. What are anubhavas? Anubhavas are nothing but external implications of internal feelings. Sometimes, most times for that matter, we tend to express ourselves externally for the emotions that take place within us. What are they? Haripulation, romancha. Tears, ashru. Tears. And gadgada swara. What is gadgada swara? The swara or the voice that looks like a shaking voice. Gadgada swara. It happens during Karna rasa or even during Sringara rasa. So these are all the external implications of internal feelings. Shrama, the sweda, beg your pardon. Sweda, the sweat is nothing but again a dance use like the present singer might know all these things because she is running a school, rasa. So a dancer should explicitly show all these things. Same case with the dramatist also, he should also explicitly mention them so the audience and the readers feel the rasa. Why I am saying the audience? Because it is staged. Readers. Many readers are there who enjoy the drama. So, Drishya and Shravya. Now, here, look at it. And I told you about Anubhavas. Then Vyabichari Bhavas. They are also called Sanchari Bhavas. In music, Sanchari Ragas are there. Sanchari Swaras are there, beg your pardon. They come and go. In any particular raga, Swara Sanchara is there. The same way, in Rasa also, Sanchari Bhavas are there. They come and go. They don't stay for a long time. There are 33 of them. Trayastrimshadami Vivicharinaha. 33. Mind you, among the 33, 29 of them come and go in Sringara Rasa itself. That's why it is a queen of sentiments. 29 out of 33, imagine. So Kalidasa might have observed all these things while composing, even before composing Abhinaya Shakuntalam. So that's why my title goes, The Astute Dramatist. And then, so, Vibhava, Anubhava, Vyabichari, Samyogat, Rasa Nishpatti. Even if one bhava is not there, rasa cannot take place. So, all the three bhavas produce what is called as sthayi bhava. Rati. That Rati manifests into Sringara. Directly Sringara will not come. Rati manifests. That's why we have got 8 sthai bhavas for 8 sentiments. Shoka for karuna, like that. Utsaha for virya, for vira. Vismaya for adbhuta, like that. So we have got 8 sthai bhavas, and they develop into, or they manifest into rasas. Well, this is very much evident from the way Kalidasa treats the primary rasa, namely Shringar rasa. So we conclude now that Shringar rasa is the primary rasa in the composition of Abhijnana Shakuntalam. That is the main rasa. Other rasas, I will come to that. Well, slightly I want to divert from the topic, not exactly, related to the topic, Jagannatha Pandita's statements about Abhijnana Shakuntalam. Jagannatha Pandita's observation of the employment of Rasa Sutra in Abhijnana Shakuntala is seen from his declaration in his Rasangadha. Fantastic declaration is there, where he would take only, not any other Bhoja's composition or any other composition, only Abhijnana Shakuntala he takes, Rasangadha of 17th century. Samuchita Lalita, I am not going to go through the entire one, but I will stop at a place. Samuchita Lalita Sannivesha Charuna Kavyena Samarpitaihi Sakritaya Hridayam Pravishtahi Tadiya Sakritayata Sahakritena Bhavana Vishesha Mahimna Vigalita Dushyanta Ramaniyattvadibihi Alaukika Vibhava Anubhava Vyabichari Shabda Vyavadeshaihi Shakuntaladibihi Alambana Karanaihi. Yes, mentioned. Chandrikadibihi Jyotsna. Chandrikadibihi Uddipana Karanaihi. See, he has also mentioned Uddipana. In the ashram, there might have been Jyotsna on one day. We don't know. Then, Ashrupatadibihi Karyaihi. Ashrupata can happen even in Shringara. Chintadibihi Sahakaribihi. Sahakari is another name for Vyabhichari Bhava. Vyabhichari Bhava or Sanchari Bhava or Sahakaris. Sahakarins. Sahakarin Shabda. So Sahakaribihi cha Sambhuya ... It's a big paragraph running. That is Jagannatha Pandita. So threadbara our Peswar. Appo, then we all know that Vibhavas are 2 Alambana, as I already told you, Uddipana, etc. Then you have the Anubhavas or external implication of internal feelings, that also I told you. Ashrupatadibihi Karyaihi. Ashrupata's tears of joy, we can take it like this, could be an Anubhava while expressing Shringar Rasa. Dr. K.S. might differ in this particular area. We will listen to him later. And Dushyanta did experience it. Then finally comes Sanchari Bhavas, Sahakaris. They literally assist in the development of rasa. Yes? So, Chinta, etc., Sanchari Bhavas. Incidentally, as I told you, Shringar Rasa is the only rasa that boasts 29 of the 33 Vyabhichari Bhavas. Another important aspect of Kalidasa's treatment of Shringar Rasa, in consonance with the Natya Shastram, is that he deals with both types of Shringara in one drama, namely Sambhoga Shringara and Vipralambha Shringara later. Excellent. So, that, whereas if you see in Malakagnimitram, there is no 2 types. They don't get separated. The hero is not getting the permission of his wife, that's all. But there is no question of separation. Whereas in Megha Sandesha, if you see, there is a separation. Vipralambha Shringara in its full action, you can see. Okay, Yaksha is somewhere, and she is elsewhere, Alaka, and then what happens? A real case of Vipralambha Shringara. Yes. So, but here, in this particular drama, both are. The former, that is Shringara Rasa, during the ashrama scenes, and the latter, during the acts when Dushyanta suffered from memory loss, unfortunate. The poet brings in, now you might ask, sir, you said supporting rasas. Kalidasa was very careful about supporting rasas also. My dear audience, if the principal rasa is there, not enough. There should be some more rasas that should be suggesting or at least supporting the principal rasa. What are the two main rasas? Karuna and Adbhuta also. One would find Karuna and Adbhuta. I would quote and also give some examples. So, the poet brings in Karuna and Adbhuta also as supporting rasas in the construction of the play. The divine intervention at the end paves the way for Adbhuta rasa. That is always there. Shakuntala's words in the 5th act, not 4th, 5th act, when she stood before the king, desperate to prove her identity. She was very desperate to prove her identity. எங்கேயாவது வந்து வைஃபை வந்து டெஸ்பரேட்டாக பார்த்துருக்கோமா டு ப்ரூவ் ஹர் ஐடென்டிட்டி. ஹஸ்பண்டுக்கு முன்னாடி நான் தான்ப்பா உன்னுடைய மனைவி. பட் அந்த கஷ்டமான ஒரு நிலைமை அவளுக்கு ஏற்பட்டிருக்கு. பௌரவா அப்படி கத்தலை. யுக்தம் நாம தே ததா புரா ஆசிரமபதே ஸ்வபாவ உத்தான ஹிருதயம் இமம் ஜனம் சமயபூர்வம் பிரதாரிய சாம்பிரதம் ஈதிருஷைஹி அக்ஷரைஹி பிரத்யாக்கியாத்தும். இஸ் இட் ப்ராப்பர்? அன்றைக்கி என்ன நடந்தது? யுவர் மெஜஸ்டி, அப்போ யுவர் மெஜஸ்டி ஷி இஸ் காலிங். It was pure love that united both of us in the ashrama days. And you too were kind to me by delivering a promise. It is appropriate. Is it appropriate for you to reject me now like this? இந்த காலத்து ஆடியன்ஸ் தெரியல, அந்த காலத்து ஆடியன்ஸு கண்ணீர் சிந்திருப்பாங்க கண்டிப்பாக. இப்போ இன்னும் ஏதாவது பெருசாக பண்ணாதான் அழுகே வருது. மை சன் யூஸ் டு ஆஸ்க், சிரிப்பே வரலையே விதூஷக விஷயத்தில். உனக்கு வராதுடா, அந்த காலத்தில் வந்திருக்கு. விதூஷகா மோதக்கத்தை தேடி போகும்போது அந்த காலத்தில் விழுந்து விழுந்து சிரிப்பாங்கடா. ஆக அதெல்லாம் நாம் நம்பி தான் ஆகணும். இங்கே பாருங்கள். ஆக is it proper? These words shift the mood of the audience, certainly. There used to be some audience at that time. These words shift the mood of the audience to the Viparlambha and also Karuna. என்ன சார் கருணா விப்பர்லம்பா? விப்பர்லம்பத்தை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் சாபேக்ஷ பாவா, கருணா நிரபேக்ஷ பாவா. பரதா சேஸ் இன் இஸ் நாட்டிய சாஸ்திர. அபேக்ஷா, there is always a hope for union in விப்பர்லம்பா. whereas கருணா டெட் பாடி இங்கே படுத்துன்னு இருக்கு. no chance of any revival, no chance of reunion. This is the difference between Karuna and Viparlamba. Viparlamba always gives you some hope. Yaksha had a hope. After 1 year I will unite with my wife. Kubera gave the curse only for a period of 1 year. But in the case of death, Nirapeksha, no chance. So there's a difference between Karuna Rasa and Viparlamba. That also he followed carefully. So Kalidasa, while depicting the scenes containing Viparlamba, there was always a hope in the minds of the readers and also the audience. Karuna Rasa is depicted by Kalidasa in Abhinjana Shakuntala in another place also, especially when Shakuntala takes leave of the inmates of ashrama, thus creating many anubhavas for the audience. What are many anubhavas? Audience might have experienced many anubhavas in that particular scene, and the readers also while reading the drama. Kanva's words. Let us watch Kanva's words in the 4th act. யாஸ்யதி அத்திய சகுந்தலா இதி ஹிருதயம் சம்ஸ்பிருஷ்டம் உத்கண்டயா. இன்னைக்கு அவள் கிளம்பி போகிறா. ஒரு ஃபாதராக எனக்கு, ஃபோஸ்டர் ஃபாதர்னு மறந்துடலாம், ஒரு ஃபாதராக எனக்கு துக்கம் தாங்க முடியல. கண்டஹா ஸ்தம்பித பாஷ்ப விருத்தி கலுஷா சிந்தாஜலம் தர்ஷனம். மை ஐஸ் ஆர் பீயிங் அப்ஸ்ட்ரக்டட் பை டியர்ஸ். அண்ட் ஐ டோல்ட் யூ அபவுட் கத்கதஸ்வரா, தட் இஸ் ஹியர். கண்டஹா ஸ்தம்பித பாஷ்பா. அதனால் அப்போ எப்படி பேசுவாங்கன்னா, என்னால் முடியலையப்பா அப்படி தான் பேசுவாங்க. ஏன்னா அதுதான் கத்கத ஸ்வரம், கருணரசத்தில் வரும். இந்த விபாவ அனுபவ விபச்சாரி பாவங்கள்லாம் கரெக்டாக இருக்கான்னு நாம் டெஸ்டெல்லாம் பண்ணக்கூடாது. ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள், ஒரு டெட் பாடி இருக்கிற இடத்துக்கு போயிட்டு ஏதாவது கரெக்டாக ஆகுதுன்னு இருக்கீங்களா, நாட்டிய சாஸ்திரத்தில் சொன்ன மாதிரி எல்லா அனுபவம் எல்லாம் இருக்கா அப்படின்னு கேட்கக்கூடாது. படான்னு நம்ம அரைஞ்சிட்டு வாங்க, நம்ம திரும்பி வரணும். ஸோ ப்ரெசன்ஸ் ஆஃப் டெட் பாடி இஸ் ஆலம்பனா, உத்தீபனா, பீட்டிங் ஆஃப் பிரெஸ்ட் அண்ட் ஆல் தீஸ் திங்ஸ். எல்லா ரசத்துக்கும் இருக்கும். ரசசாஸ்திரம் அவ்வளோ இம்பார்ட்டண்ட். ஒரு டான்ஸர்ஸ் ரசத்தை டெபிக் பண்ணும்போது ரொம்ப கேர்ஃபுல்லாக இருக்கும். ஆடியன்ஸ் கைத்தட்டுவாங்க, ஆனால் சில கைத்தட்டல் ரொம்ப பெருசாக கேட்கும். ஏன்னா அவள் தான் ரசிகர்கள், உண்மையாக ரசித்து கைத்தட்டுவாங்க. ஸோ இந்த ரசசாஸ்திரம் நாட்டிய சாஸ்திரத்தில் அதுவும் ரசத்தை நான் சாஸ்திரம்னு சொல்லிட்டு இருக்கேன், அந்த அளவுக்கு இம்பார்ட்டண்ட். இங்கே பாருங்க, at the thought of Shakuntala departing today, another 10 minutes I'll finish, my heart is bitten by grief, my throat is choking on account of tears, and then that are controlled, of course, I am controlling my tears, and my sight is blocking due to anxiety. இந்த sight blocking due to anxiety இல்லை, அந்த காலத்து நடிகர்களை நம்ம பார்க்கணும். ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் எஸ் வி ரங்காராவ், எத்தனை பேர் தெரியுமோ தெரியாது, கண்களில் தண்ணி இருக்கும்போது அவரால் பார்க்க முடியாமல் நடிப்பார். அது நடிப்பு, அது ரசம். அங்கே கருணா நமக்கு தெரியும். இப்போ உள்ள ஆசிடை தான் கண்ணில் தப்பாக ஆசிட் உள்ளே போயிடுச்சுன்னா பிளைண்ட் ஆக வேண்டியது தான். நவ் இங்கே பாருங்கள், திஸ் தாட் கிளியர்லி மேக்ஸ் தி ஆடியன்ஸ் ஷெட் எ டியர் ஆர் டூ. ஃபோர்ஸ்ட் பை, ஐ யூஸ் த வேர்ட் ஃபோர்ஸ்ட் பை கருணாதாசா. அந்த அப்பா அந்த மாதிரி அழுகிறது ஆடியன்ஸில் கண்டிப்பாக நல்லா நடிக்கணும், அழுக வந்துடும். ஸோ கருணாதாசா in the same act, fourth act, you will find Shakuntala telling her friend Priyamvada. Shakuntala வந்து பிரியம்பதா கிட்ட சொல்லுவா. இங்கே பாருங்க, அப்படி அப்போ பிரியம்பதே ஆரியபுத்திர தர்ஷனோத்சுகாயாக அப்படி ஆசிரமபத பரித்தேஜந்தியாக துக்கேன மே சரணௌ புறத்தா பிரவர்த்தேதே. சரணௌ பிரவர்த்தேதே, கஷ்டமாக என்னுடைய கால்கள் போயிட்டுருக்கு, ஆனால் என் ஹஸ்பண்டை பார்க்கணுன்னு மனசு துடிக்குது, ஆனால் என் கால்கள் நடக்கலை, ஏன்னா ஐ எம் கோயிங் டு லீவ் தி ஆஷ்ரம். வாட் ஏ கிரேட் தாட். Though I am eager to see my husband, my feet are not moving. They are moving with great difficulty, since I am going to leave you all and the ashrama. Then, sentences like these in the fourth act clearly show that Kalidasa had employed Karuna as a supporting rasa to the primary rasa Sringara. Kalidasa deployed Adbhuta rasa. Adbhutata sollaliye sir, edha or example. Towards the end of Vinashakutra, when Dushyanta sees his son playing with a lion cub near the hermitage of sage Maricha, he thinks, என் பையன் எப்படி தெரியும், மகதஸ் தேஜசோ பீஜம் பாலோயம் பிரதிபாதிமே ஸ்புலிங்காவஸ்தையா வன்னிஹி ஏதாபேக்ஷ இவ ஸ்திதா. ஏதாபேக்ஷ, ஜஸ்ட் லைக் a spark of fire is anticipating fuel. ஆன்டிசிபேட் பண்ணுமா, அது ஃபியூவல் என் மேலே விழணும், நான் வந்து எரியணும் அப்படின்னு பார்த்துருக்கோம். அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கா இவனை பார்க்கறதுக்கு. எல்லா இடத்துலையும் உப்புமா இருக்க பேசு. உப்புமா காளிதாசஸ்ய தனியாக சொல்ல போகிறது இல்லை, மெட்டஃபராக இருந்தாலும் உப்புமா இருக்குது. ஐஸ்கிரீமில் வெண்ணிலா மாதிரி எல்லா அலங்காரத்துலேயும் உப்புமா இருக்கும். வெண்ணிலா இல்லாமல் ஐஸ்கிரீம் பண்ண முடியுமோ? அந்த மாதிரி எல்லா அலங்காரத்துலேயும் ஒரு சின்ன பேஸ் உப்புமா இருந்தே ஆகணும். எது எடுத்தாலும் சரி, ஆக்ஷேபத்தை எடுத்தாலும் உள்ளே இருக்கும். சந்திர சந்தர்ஷய ஆத்மானம் அதுவா அஸ்தி பிரியா முகம், ஏதோ ஒரு பேஸ் இருக்குல்ல உப்புமா. காளிதாசாஸ் எம்ப்ளாய்மெண்ட் ஆஃப் குணாஸ். அதுக்கு முன்னாடி அத்புத ரசம்னு சொல்லும்போது சின்னதாக ஒரு எக்ஸ்பெரிமெண்ட் என்ன அப்படின்னு கேட்டால், காளிதாசருடைய லைஃப்லேயே அற்புதம் நடந்திருக்கு. ஏன்னா தேவி அவரை ஆசீர்வாதம் பண்ணி நாலேஜ் பவர் ஆஃப் ரைட்டிங் கொடுத்த போது வெறும் மங்களத்தை மட்டும், அதாவது தியானத்தை மட்டும் ட்ரை பண்ணுறேன், அதுவும் என்னுடைய மானசீக குருவான கண்டசாலா அவர்களை மனசில் நினைத்து கொண்டு, மாணிக்ய வீணாம் உபலாலயந்தி மதாலசாம் மஞ்சுள வாக்விலாசாம் மகேந்திர நீலத்யுதி கோமலாங்கி மாதங்க கன்யாம் மனசா ஸ்மராமி சதுர்புஜே சந்திரகலாவதம்சே குச்சோன்னதே குங்குமராகசோனே புண்ரேக்ஷு பாசாங்குஷ புஷ்பபாணஹஸ்தே நமஸ்தே ஜகதேகமாதः ஜகதேகமாதः. அப்படின்னு அவருக்கே நடந்த அந்த அற்புதத்தை இப்படி பாடியிருக்கார். ஸோ தண்டகா மீட்டரில் அதுக்கு வந்து ஒரு லிமிட்டிங் ஃபேக்டர் இல்லை. எத்தனை சிலபல் வேணால் இருக்கலாம். எக்ஸீடிங் ஈவன் 26 த மேக்ஸிமம், 33 கூட இருக்கலாம். ஆனால் என்னமோ அவளுக்கு தோண்டிட்டு அந்த அத்புதத்தில் அப்படியே எழுதிட்டார். மஸ்ட் ஹேவ் பீன் த வெரி ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கம்போசிஷன் ஆஃப் தியாகராஜன் வருது வாயில், ஆஃப் காளிதாசா. மஸ்ட் ஹேவ் பீன் தி என்ன, எங்கள் மேடம் இருக்கிறாங்க ஆல்ரெடி ரிசர்ச் பண்ண மேடம். ஸோ ஆக எங்கே பாருங்கள், வெரி ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கம்போசிஷன் ஆஃப் காளிதாசா மஸ்ட் ஹேவ் பீன் தட். அந்த அந்த அத்புதத்தில் அவர் அப்படி எழுதிட்டார். நடந்த வண்டல், அவருக்கே வண்டல் நடந்திருக்கு. அதனால் அத்புத ரசத்தை வந்து எம்ப்ளாய் பண்ணாமல் இருப்பாரோ? காளிதாசாஸ் எம்ப்ளாய்மெண்ட் ஆஃப் குணாஸ். ஐ எம் கம்மிங் டு குணாஸ். வித் தட் ஐ வில் எண்ட். குணாஸ் என்ன சார்? குணா இஸ் அ வெரி என்ன சொல்கிறது, இட் இஸ் நாட் டெல்ட் வித் ஸ்பெஷல் ரெக்கக்னிஷன் பை மெனி ரைட்டர்ஸ். ஆனால் குணா ஸ்கூல்னே தனியாக இருக்குது, பண்ணாங்க. ஆனால் குணா இஸ் mostly it is not identified and not paid due, not given due respect. Remember, my dear audience, gunas always construct and support and develop the rasas. Prasada, ojas, madhurya. Gunas also play a very important role. Kalidasa gunathiyum paathirukar. Endha gunam podalam, prasada gunathai potta shringara rasathai develop pannalam. Kalidasa's employment of gunas that assist in the formation of delineation of rasas is also a vital aspect of this drama construction. In the first act, you will find Dushyanta describing the beauty of Shakuntala. Ellarkum theriyum. Watching her concealing himself. Munnadi vara dhairiyam illaiyan kekka koodadhu. Concealing himself behind a tree. Sarasijamidam anvidham shaivalena Malinapapi, very good. Malinapapi himamshoho lakshma lakshmim tanoti. Iyam adhikatara manotnya valkalenapi tanvi iyam tanvi kimivahi maduranam mandanam na akritinam. Very good. Our Balu sir is really enjoying. So, what is this? Yenta or ornament vena, beautiful woman. And how is this? A lotus. Look at the lotus. Even though smeared with mud, is beautiful to look at. The dark spot increases the beauty of the moon further. The slender lady in front of me is more beautiful even in the bark cloth. What is not an embellishment for lovely forms? What is not an embellishment? Maduranam akritinam kimna mandanam. Mandanam is decoration. Here, what is there? Here, delineation of Shringara Rasa is there through Prasada Guna. Through Prasada Guna. Now, to the last aspect, Dhvani. Kalidasa Tetra Dhvani illa. Ana Dhvani irundadu. Enna sir illa irundadu. Dhvani term illa. Ana Vengyartham illama avarala ezhudhukka mudiyumo. Anala Dhvani always lived right from the birth of poetry. Valmiki டயத்துல இருந்தே இருந்திருக்கு Dhvani இல்லாம இருக்கும், எங்கேயாவது இருக்கும். Coming to Dhvani or suggestion aspect of poetry, although the term Dhvani did not exist during the time of Kalidasa, the concept of suggestion was very much there. And Kalidasa used it while composing the drama Years. First century வாழ்ந்தவருக்கு இவ்வளோ knowledge எப்படி? Very first century AD. அதனால தான் all the other poets, even Anargaragava, Murari, all of them might have, எங்கேயோ ஒரு இடத்துல they might have followed Kalidasa. Because அவர் தான் குரு. அந்த பேரில் ஒரு யூனிவர்சிட்டி இருக்குல்ல, கவி உள்ள குரு. ஸோ பாருங்க, அவர் தான் குரு, கவி குலத்துக்கே குரு. அப்படி இருக்கும்போது யூ கேன் see and feel Dhvani ஒரு இடத்துல at a juncture in the fourth act when Shakuntala was about to depart to her husband's place. இதை வந்து பிரியம்பதா சொல்கிறான் ஒரு சேஞ்ச். இதுவும் எல்லாருக்கும் தெரிஞ்ச ஒரு வர்ஸ். உத்கலித தர்ப கபலா மிருக்யா பரித்யக்த நர்த்தனாக மயூராக உபஸ்ருத பாண்டுபத்ராக முஞ்சந்தி அஸ்ரூணீவ லதாக. எல்லாத்துலேயும் பேஸாக உபமா இருக்குது, உபமா இல்லாமல் இல்லை. ஈச் ஒன் இஸ் கம்பேர்ட் டு த அதர் ஒன், டு another one. Clearly depicts Karunarasa. என்ன அர்த்தம்? See, you are going to leave this ashram premises Oh Shakuntala, her friend Priyambada is telling, Udgalita Darbha Kavala Murgya, the deer are just, they are not munching the grass. ஆனால் வாய் பிளந்து அப்படியே கீழே வந்துட்டுருக்கு, சாப்பிடக்கூட முடியல அவள். பரித்தியக்த நர்த்தனா மயூராக, மயூரத்துக்கு அழகே டான்ஸ் நர்த்தனா, பட் தே ஹவ் அபேண்டன்ட் டான்ஸ். அப்படியே நிற்குது. அது அப்படி இப்படி இருந்தால் தானே அது அழகாக இருக்கும். ஆனால் அப்படியே நிற்குது, கொஞ்சம் ஓவராக தான் இருக்குது. அப்படி ஓவராக சொன்னால் தான் அது நல்லாயிருக்கும். உபஸ்ருத பாண்டு பத்ரா முஞ்சந்தி அஸ்ருணிவ லதாக. ஹவ் ஆர் தி க்ரீப்பர்ஸ்? தேர் ஆல் ஷெட்டிங் தி லீவ்ஸ். அது பாண்டு, ஃபேடட் லீவ்ஸ். எப்படின்னு கேட்டால், they are as if they are shedding tears. Leaves are falling, but பெரிய பெரிய கண்ணீர் தான் விழுந்துருக்கு அப்படின்னு. It would suggest something. What is it? In future, apart from depicting Karuna Rasa, here also it is there. Priyamada's words suggest her future that will begin to wane further, not wax. Waning. Shakuntala's future is going to wane till the 6th or 7th act. So it is going to wane further. Suggestive. ஸோ இன்னும் தேடினா நிறைய சஜஷன்ஸ் இருக்கும். ஸோ இப்படி இருக்குது. அண்ட் ஃபைனல்லி ஐ ஹவ் டேக்கன் தி எக்ஸ்ட்ரா 3 minutes சார், வெரி சாரி. அண்ட் ஃபைனல்லி வி ஷல் சி தி அலங்கார ஆஸ்பெக்ட். அது பார்க்கலையே நம்ம ஆஃப் தி கம்போசிஷன் ஆஃப் ஏஸ். உப்புமா சொல்ல மாட்டேன். ஆஸ் சச் ஒன்னே ஒரு அலங்காரம். ஆஸ் வி ஆல் நோ உப்புமா காளிதாசஸ்ய த கிரேட் dramatist is known for the treatment of upama or simile in all his works, including Abhinjana Shakuntalam. I would only like to highlight Kalidasa's treatment of an important alankara called Akshepa. Akshepa is one of my favorite alankaras. So, very interesting alankara in this drama. What is Akshepa? You should know what is Akshepa. Chandralokakara defines Akshepa in his work, Jayadeva, in his work, that is Chandraloka. Akshepastu prayuktasya pratishedaha vicharanat. What does it mean? When some action is directed, an action is directed to go on, but that action need not take place because something similar to that can be performed by some other thing. Vicharanat, on consideration. That is called Akshepa. If you look at the example, you will understand. Poet is telling, Chandra, O moon, Samdarshaya Atmanam. I think I already told you about this. You just show yourself. Athava asti priya mukham. Or else, no, you stay there. My lover's face is there, and that will show itself. Chandrane வேண்டாம். அது இளமையில் வரைக்கும் தான் நினைக்கிறேன். அதுக்கப்புறம் மறந்து போயிடுவான். நானும் அப்படி சொன்னேன்னு கேட்பான். ஸோ அப்படி இல்லை அர்த்தம். அது இந்த மாதிரி அந்த காலத்தில் போயட்ஸ் எழுதியிருக்கிறாங்க. அதவா அஸ்தி பிரியாமுகம். அந்த மாதிரி இங்கே என்ன சார் இருக்குது? அபிஞான சாகுந்தலத்தில் சொன்னால் ஒரே ஒரு எக்ஸாம்பிள் மாத்திரம் பார்க்கலாம். ஆனால் இது ப்ரொசைக்காக இருக்கும். சகுந்தலா சேஸ் அட்ரஸிங் தி ஃபான். என்ன ஆகுதுன்னா, த வெரி ஆக்ட் ஆஃப் சாரோஃபுல் லேமெண்டேஷன் while Shakuntala left is performed by the forest itself. At Shakuntala's departure is a clear case of Akshepa, personification, the English le peru. Leave alone the act of sorrowful lamentation of inmates. Leave alone, no need. Animals, birds, trees, flowers, stems, branches. A tree following Shakuntala's path, a deer, beg your pardon, a deer, fawn, following Shakuntala's path is beautifully portrayed by Kalidasa in the 4th act, thereby suggesting Akshepa Alankara. Suggesting, I use the word suggesting. Leave alone the ashrama inmates following the Shakuntala's path. Shakuntala says, Vatsa, to the deer, hey, vena, neeru. Inmates, varaton, nee kuda variye. Leave alone them. Vatsa, kim sahavasa parityagini. I am a sahavasa parityaginan. Tana thittikira. I am going to abandon you, though I had a lot of association with you. Unfortunate lady I am, more unfortunate you are. Sahavasa parityagini maam anusarati kim? Anusarasi kim? Achira prasutaya jananya vina vardhita eva. Your mother died when giving birth to you. From that time, I nourished you. எனக்கு ஞாபகம் இருக்குமா? இதெல்லாம் கேட்கும்போதே ஆடியன்ஸ் ஒரு மாதிரி ஆயிடுவாங்க. இதானீமபி மயா விரஹிதம் துவாம் தாத்தः சிந்தயிஷ்யதி. My Sanskrit in tata means father. My father will nourish you when I leave from this place. When I leave this place, my father will nourish you. பயப்படாத. நிவர்த்தஸ்வ தாவத். Just don't follow me. Huh? See? என்ன சொல்றா அப்படின்னு கேட்டா, therefore go back அப்படின்னு. The very act of following Shakuntala's path is performed by animals of the forest. Is a clear indication of a suggestion of Akshepa Alankara here. I thank the audience for patient hearing. My thanks are again heavily due to Dr. Balasubramanian, Dr. Kameshwari, Dr. Vasudeva, Dr. Yamuna, who is growing as a wonderful guide, a very senior guide. Our appreciation for her. Though I have not been attending many programs here, my apologies to Kameshwari madam. சோம்பேறியில் ஒரு பெரிய சோம்பேறி நான். அதனால் வராமல் இருந்தாலும் I closely follow LinkedIn's advertisements, YouTube, everything from my home. So, and others who are associated with this great institute, thanks one and all.
I now request our Secretary, Dr. Sita Sundaraman Madam, to hand over our appreciation of token to Dr. Prasanth. That was a beautiful lecture by Dr. Prasanth, analyzing the Abhignana Shakuntala in the light of highlighting the concepts Alankara, Dhvani, Guna and other Chamatkaras in Abhignana Shakuntala. I'm actually under this endowment. I'm fortunate to say that I have acted in that Abhignana Shakuntala as one of the characters. Even Dr. Balasubramanian as Sharangarava and Sharadvada. I took the role of Maricha also. That drama was played twice actually. One of the lecture demonstration here, the 6th act, Matsagandhi, the fisherman act. So I was a policeman and Dr. Shivaraman, son of Venkataraman Vishwanath Sharma, he was the chief, he was the fisherman. He was a fisherman. And we were the policemen in that fisherman episode. So that was so fortunate to have thought of it. And I thank Dr. Prasanth. Some of the beautiful words are there in Abhignana Shakuntalam which we cannot forget. The first beautiful description, the technique, how he introduces the characters. And he says, immediately after the Nandi, he says, Tavasmi Gita Ragena Harina Prasubambataha Esha Rajeva Dushyantaha Sarangena Adiramasa. See how beautifully he introduces the character into the place actually. See, it is not an abrupt withdrawal of the Nandi, Sutradhara and assistant, but he connects that. Tavasmi Gita, he says, first he requests his Paripashaka or another attendant to sing about the respective season. That was the summer season. That's why she says, Gahantam Mahishaha, let all the buffaloes sing, have a plunge in the waters, etc. That is a beautiful description. And when that Yesha Rajeva Dushyantaha Sarangena Adiramasa, when he describes how the Dushyanta is chasing that deer, the galloping, the fast run of the deer is also beautifully described. And that is Griva Bhanga Biramam, and he closes, it bends its half part, front half of the body like that, out of the fear that the arrow will be shot by the Dushyanta. And then the people come and say, Ashrama Murgoyam Nahantavyaha Nahantavyaha, etc. And there, during, it's not that he hides himself and hears the conversation. It is inquisitiveness to know the origin of the Dushyanta. There he says, Nahi pratishidde vastuni pauramana mana pravartade. He comes to know that she is the daughter of Vishwamitra, who was actually a royal king, royal personality. That's why he says, first he thinks that she may be the daughter of some sage and he cannot marry her like that. Then when he comes to know that she is the daughter of that Vishwamitra who was previously a king, then therefore he says, Nahi pratishidde vastuni pauramana mana pravartade. There is a beautiful description in the 4th act also, which our professor used to say. I am myself and Dr. Balasubramanian, we used to have the class of Professor Vishwanathan, and he used to quote all the 4 verses of 4th act. He says, Tatra Ramya Shakuntala, and the 4th sloka, 4 slokas in the 4th act. There, when he says that Samanya Pradipatti Purvakmayam Dareshu Drishyattvaya, nobody has given the 3 meanings for this Samanya Pradipatti. Sa, Ma, Anya Pradipatti. That is one interpretation. Sa, Manya Pradipatti, one interpretation. Sa, Manya Pradipatti, another interpretation. So these 3 interpretations, our professor used to insist that this is not mentioned anywhere else. It is only his own invention that he says the description like that. Though there are, Sankarama Sastri has already published about that. But our professor used to say, this is the interpretation which we cannot find anywhere else. So that was a beautiful description. And when you were saying that, when that's a turning point of rasas also. In the first act itself, the Kanva says, Artho hi kanya parakiya eva. So the daughters are only to be given to the other person. That is a property of other person. He cannot claim that. Artho hi kanya parakiya eva. And this act, in the 4th act, he says, repeats the same thing. And because I was the Sharangarava and Sharada, the character, and I used to act that. And there, in that 4 verses, see how beautifully it describes. Patumna vyavasadi jalam yushma swapiteshu ya nadatte priyamandanavi bhavatam snehena ya pallavam adyeva kusuma prasuti samaye yasyabhavat yutsavaha seyam yadi shakuntala padigraham sarve lanuvandiram. See how beautiful she was, close to the environment. She used to water the plants first before drinking the water. Patumna pratamam vyavasidi jalam yushmasu apiteshu. So without offering water to you, she will not. These type of descriptions are quite common in Kalidasa's dramas. In Raghuvamsha also he says, Vishwasaya Vihanganam Alavalam. So the birds are so confident that they drink the water in this penance grove. The description of penance grove is quite common in Kalidasa's works as well as Bana's works. In Bana, Kadambari also beautifully describes Jabali Ashrama. That's close to the environment. And there in the penance grove also he says, Nivaraha, Shukagarbha Kodarvitaha, like that. So how can you find out that ashram? They say you trace these grains that have fallen down. And then, it is closer to that. The animals are closer to that. While recollecting the story, she says, she asked Dushyanta, do you remember that when we were there in the penance grove, at the time, when you offered that handful of grass to that deer, they didn't accept. Because he being a stranger, that deer didn't accept. And when I offered that, and he gratefully accepted, then you said, Sarvaha Sagandeshu Vishwasiti. So all are just, that deer is so confident that that accepts the grass from you. So there are beautiful discussions in each and every stanza that so beautifully played. Kalidasa is something like closer to heart. He seems to be a Shiva Bhakta. In all the 3 dramas, he prays to Shiva. Of course, there is no difference between Shiva and Vishnu. And just like that, he says, Ekaishwarye stitopi pranada bahubale. There he says, Ashtaviriyasya krishnam jagadavi tanubhir bibrato nabhimanaha. Like that, this is a beautiful description. So in most of the slokas also, he seems to pray Shiva. I don't distinguish between Shiva and Vishnu, but it seems that he seems to be a devotee of Shiva. Anyway, why I am saying is because this is the commemoration endowment lecture under the name of Dr. Janaki. So that has instigated, that has just given me the chance to mention all these things. Because Dr. Janaki was our mentor also. We did PhD under Dr. Janaki, myself and Dr. Balasubramanian. And so I thank Dr. Prasanth for this wonderful lecture of ASTUTE DRAMATIST, analyzing the various concepts. Very nicely presented Dr. Prasanth. And I thank the endowment makers also for arranging such lectures. I thank you one and all. I thank Dr. Vaishnavi Purna also for rendering the shlokas in a beautiful manner. I thank you all. Thank you very much.